Hi boys and girls, we are on lesson 10.2. It's page 659 in your math workbook, and we're going to be learning about picture graphs today. Alright, so all you need out today is your workbook and your pencil. It says use the tally chart to solve the problem. Draw a right to show what you did. So anytime you have a chart, you should always read the chart. Read the title, read the categories, read how many, so that you are able to answer the questions correctly. So this chart says favorite hobbies. You might be saying, what is a hobby? A hobby is something you like to do. It might be making slime, it might be playing Legos, it might be playing sports. That's a hobby, things that you like to do. So these hobbies are crafts, reading, music, and sports. And then they did tally marks to collect their data. So let's look at the tally marks, and we're going to write the number that matches the tally mark. So for crafts, we have 5, 6, because remember, every time you see that diagonal line, that means that it is 5. And for reading, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. For music, we have exactly 5. And for sports, we have 5, 6, 7. So the question is, how many more subtract children in his class chose sports than chose reading as his favorite hobby? So we're looking at two different things, and we're comparing the difference, because we know that how many more subtract means to subtract. So we are looking at sports, which was 7, and reading, which was 4. So we're going to subtract 7 minus 4. And when you subtract 7 minus 4, you get 3. So 3 more children like sports than reading. All right, go ahead, flip your page. If you aren't done with that page, hit the pause button and finish it first. We are now on page 660. So today we're going to be reading picture graphs. Now picture graphs are really fun. I enjoy picture graphs because I like pictures. But sometimes picture graphs can be tricky, and this is why. In a picture graph, you have to look at the key, because sometimes each picture is worth more than one, and that's where they trick you. You just want to hurry up and count the pictures. But sometimes the pictures are worth 2, sometimes they're worth 5. So the first thing on a picture graph that you need to do is check out that key. So this picture graph says number of soccer games, and we can see there's March, April, May, and June. And over here it explains that whole key thing again. A key tells how many pictures stands for. So in this key, each soccer ball means 1 game. So if I wanted to know how many soccer games in June, I would count how many soccer balls there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I wanted to know how many soccer games were in April, I would count how many soccer balls were in April. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's look at the first problem. It says use the picture graph to answer the question. So we have another chart. We should always read the chart or the graph to make sure we understand what it's telling us. So this chart is about favorite snacks, and the categories of snacks are pretzels, grapes, popcorn, and apples. So that means the children asked about their favorite snacks were given 4 choices, and those are their choices. We're going to look at the key. Each smiley face equals 1. So when they ask us a question, we have to count the smiley faces by 1. So look at number 1. Which snack was chosen by the fewest children? When we hear the word fewest, does that mean the lowest amount or the biggest amount? Good, the lowest amount. So look at your picture graph. Which one has the lowest amount of votes? Or would it be pretzels, grapes, popcorn, or apples? Very good. The popcorn had the least amount of votes. How many votes did the popcorn have? Well, look at your popcorn category, and it had 1, 2, 3. So by far it was the smallest amount. Number 2, how many more subtract children chose pretzels than apples? So we saw those key words. So we know we have to subtract the number of pretzels from the number of apples. So let's count how many pretzels we have. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pretzels minus, let's count how many apples there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is 8 minus 6? Very good, 2. So there were 2 more children that chose the pretzels as their favorite snack than the apples. Okay, if you need more time on this page, hit the pause button. I'm moving on. Okay, we are now on page 661. We have another picture graph. This picture graph is showing the number of pencils that these students have. It would make me really glad if you all had that amount of pencils in my class and weren't constantly shouting out, "I don't have a pencil." So take note of these friends. Okay. So number of pencils, and the categories are the people that have them this time. So the people interviewed were Alana, Kiana, Dante, and Brad. And each pencil, looking at the key, stands for 1 pencil. So let's look at the questions. Number 3, how many pencils do Alana and Brad have? All right, so we want to know combined how many Alana and Brad have. So let's take a look at how many Alana has. Alana has 1, 2, 3. And Brad has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I want to know the total amount that they have together, what do I have to do with those two numbers? We have to add them. So we're going to add 8 plus 3. And when we add those two together, we get that they have a total of 11 pencils. All right, number 4. How many more subtract pencils does Kiana have than Alana? All right, so we heard those key words that we love to do in class so much, so we know we have to subtract. So let's look at how many Kiana has. Kiana has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other person we're looking at is Alana, who has 3. So we have to subtract the two numbers. And remember, the biggest number always goes first, so we subtract. So 5 minus 3 equals 2. So Kiana has 2 more pencils than Alana. If you need more time on that question, hit the pause button while I have this zoomed up so you can catch up. All right, the next question is a math on the spot question. So if you wanted to watch Professor Berger do it, go ahead and take your phone or your iPad and you can scan that QR code and watch that to help you. All right, Mrs. Green has the same number of pencils as the 4 children. How many pencils does she have? Ooh, that's tricky. So the 4 children have a different amount of pencils, but when we combine that amount, that's the same amount that Mrs. Green has. So, should we add all these numbers together, or should we subtract those numbers? Yeah, we should add them. So the only number we haven't counted yet is Dante's. Dante had 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to add up 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 8 to find out the total amount that these students had. So 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 8. And when I add those all together, I'm going to add these two up first. So 3 plus 5 equals 8. And 4 plus 8 equals 12. When I add up 8 plus 12, what do I get? I get 20. So Mrs. Green had a total of 20 pencils because she had the same amount as these. The other thing you could do is you could actually just count the pictures up in the picture graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So Mrs. Green had that same amount. All right, Christy has 7 pencils. I'm going to circle 7. That's an important number. Write 2 sentences to describe how her number of pencils compares to the data in the picture graph. So if she has 7 pencils, what could I write? Well, I'm going to say that Christy has more pencils than Alana. then I am going to say that she has less pencils than Brad. Because Brad had 8. All right, so you could come up with other things too. You could say maybe she had the same amount as Alana and Dante combined, because if we added up 3 plus 4, that equaled 7. We could say that she has more pencils than Kiana. We could say her and Brad had the most pencils out of everybody. So there's different things that you could say to answer that question. All right, if you need more time on this page, hit the pause button, get caught up. I'm going to stop this video and start a new video so that they don't get too long. So I will talk to you soon for part 2.